I feel like King James.
Sounds like it is straight from the motherfucking cassette.
I hate when you get to a point in your career where people feel like they got you figured out and there's no more surprises. I like people to press play on my stuff and still be surprised.
Turn it up, baby. No introduction necessary, yo. Hey, yo. Okay. Hey, yo. Son.
Two, one.
boys? Going on today, Dustin with 2 T's here with you with a Dusttin Bowerman Show coming at you for the first time live. This is the first instance of this happening ever. Just a daily esports show, you know, eventually we might burn out, but we'll see how it goes in the meantime. In the meantime, I'm here with my boys, Max and Anthony today. We'll introduce them in a moment here on this manic Monday, January 4th, 2021. Welcome to the show. Happy New Year to everybody. We're in the new year, 2021. Everything's nice and beautiful. COVID's done. Well, not necessarily. Oh, I don't know if I could have mentioned that. COVID's done, though, and everything's moving on. Life is beautiful. It's great right now, but not for us. I'll mention why in just a moment. There's a couple topics we're going to go over. First of all, we're gonna present to you what our show is necessarily, so you're confused. I know I get that. We'll let you know exactly what's going on. There's a huge Dota 2 scandal. We'll talk about one of the topics. 5 newbie players perma-banned, including 1 TI winner. Sapnap, the speedrunning legend with Dream, was seen with Dream's cat. What is with that? Is Dream meeting Sapnap? Are they married? Are they divorced? What's going on there? 4, GDQ starts up. That's going to be huge. Speedrunning is fantastic. We all love it here at the show. Me, Max, and Anthony love speedrunning. Edward Gaming's parent company has also just made a huge investment, $1 billion esports, a city, I guess is what we call it. It's a massive gaming facility. That's pretty huge. We have some Twitter hot takes as well coming up. FaZe Banks was caught at a club maskless. What the hell is going on up there? But Max and Anthony, before we do that, everybody, what's going on, guys? Are you ready to? Are you prepared? Are your anuses prepared for the Paqui One-Chip challenge?
Bro,
are you guys ready for this?
I am. I'm excited, if nothing else. This is
Bring
certainly
us on
something.
the first show, and then this is what you have us do.
Listen, Max, well, for anybody that doesn't know the story, I actually did this with Max before. Max actually had to I was like, when we were kids, we were about like 14 or 13. I invited Max over here in the bottom right and my friends Cole and Derek. And I was like, hey, you guys want to come over? You want to hang out? Just like a normal play date as you do as a kid. And then when they showed up, I showed them Carolina Reapers, which is like multi-million Scoville units hot pepper. And I just was like, hey, you guys want to eat this with me? And they're like, sure. And then we ate it, and Max immediately threw up on the counter like 5 seconds into eating the hot pepper. So he said there's a 50% chance of him vomiting. Yeah, there's a huge chance. So before we get into anything, we'll talk about the show first of all, and then once we do that, we're going to devour these. Do we eat the full chip or we take a bite, dude? What do you guys think?
There's one whole chip in there. We got to do it.
Bro, we got to at least
look
at
eat
it
the whole
first.
chip. Let me just run down real quick what our show's about and stuff, okay? So we know, so people understand what the fuck's happening, okay? So basically, 5 days of the week we'll have different topics, different ideas, different scenarios. Today is Manic Monday. So every Monday we're gonna do some crazy ass shit, including eating this Paqui chip. You know, we might shock each other, we might stab each other, you know, who knows what'll happen. Although nobody's actually getting hurt. Tuesdays will be, what's Tuesdays? I think we'll come up with this as the week goes on. Ticking Time Bomb Thursday will be a thing. I'll let you guys know when the day comes by what's going down. But we'll go over some news. We'll go over esports topics, drama, all that kind of stuff on this show. Everything will be included. Overwatch League, Counter-Strike. I already talked about in the announcement, so you might have seen it before. It's going to be huge. As the description says, big washed-up gamer here. Absolutely trashed out of the league. I trash-talked my way out of the league. That's what happens. That's what you do when you're an asshole for 2 years straight. So, speaking of assholes, gentlemen, are you ready to destroy ours?
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Get out
I'm
your
really
chips.
ready for
Serious
it.
esports podcast.
Somebody, there's already an ambulance. Do you guys hear that? In Mike and Anthony's background, there's an ambulance ready to fucking come save us, dude.
That's the
Oh
one.
my god, it's so
Here
black.
we go.
Dude, this is terrible. Anyway, so pretty much we have to suffer throughout the rest of the show after eating this chip. Oh yeah, the Paqui chip bag. There it is. Here, oh, my chip's broken. My chip is fucking broken, dude. Does that mean I only have to eat parts of it like a wishbone?
It comes with like a bunch of pamphlets and
Dude.
stuff.
Oh god,
The
it's already
packaging is
covering my
real just
hands.
for one chip.
Bro, mine's broken into 3 pieces. All right, are you guys ready? So basically, the first
You're
one
just
to drink
handling it?
drink the milk loses. So we'll come up with a punishment later in this week. But the first one to drink the milk loses. Oh, that smells kind of good. It smells like kind of like garlicky. You know,
Any
it smells like
gloves
a
for this?
No, we're already just grab it. Okay, we got to get ready.
Very
Eat the
esports
chip,
related.
all right?
Bro, how did you even open
I'll
this
count us
thing?
down. Are you guys ready, dude? You just open it from the top.
What do you mean from the
This was
top?
unprepared, unplanned, by the way. You open it from the top. You gotta just like peel down the package and just open it and rip it out. Mine's broken. Is you guys broken?
Nah, I got a whole chip.
What the fuck? Why is mine broken, dude?
Make
This
sure
is
you
fucked
get
up,
the
bro.
sprinkles in the packet too.
I'm not licking my fingers. If you lick your fingers, I'll pay you $5. But that as high as we go for that
Bro, I'll
bet,
do
dude.
it.
Fuck
Wait,
that shit.
are we keeping it in
All
our
right.
mouths or just swallow whenever?
You chew it and swallow. Chew it and swallow. That's
Motherfucker.
you can do it as fast as you want. All right. 3, 2, 1. You can wash it down with some, not milk though.
I only have milk.
Bad decision. Oh, that was so bad. Oh no. Dude, that was the whole chip.
Oh.
1.5 million Scoville units or something. I'm already crying. Oh, don't wipe your face. Oh, fuck. That's bad.
That is bad. No, fuck you. I gotta go to milk.
Max loses.
Please.
That's pretty bad, dude. Fuck, dude. I'm going milk.
How are we supposed to do a show like this?
This is an awful idea,
first
Dustin.
topic. First topic. Oh my god. Woo. Wait a moment. First topic. First topic, boys. Don't put the whole camera on me, Toberto. Fuck you. Oh, fuck you, bro. First topic of the day. 5 Dota 2 players get banned. We're dying over here. Every time I talk,
I need more
the
milk.
peep. Don't make me laugh. Every time we talk, the heat gets worse and worse. I don't even want to say anything because it just hurts. It's just pain. Matthew Super Delisi. Oh, it's in my eye somehow. I didn't even touch my face. How is it in my eye? Matthew Super Delisi has done this on stream. And got absolutely fucking boned. I didn't watch the VOD. I can't even open my eyes right. Ah, fuck, I can't open my eyes. Oh my god, it hurts so bad. Oh, Matthew Delisi has done this on stream and absolutely just got fucked. I don't even know how you're supposed to talk. I don't know how I'm supposed to communicate. Are my co-hosts even still on the show?
Anyway,
Kind of.
about the 5 Dota 2 players who got banned for life.
Oh yeah, 5 Dota 2 players banned for life here, Anthony. Thanks for bringing it up, bud. Oh, I hope this is... I can't even talk, it's coming out my nose. Oh, Anthony, save the show.
Yeah, we got
Super
Mugi.
serious show.
AQ. Wizard. How do you pronounce this fourth guy's name? It's like a Waishi or something. Faith?
Faith.
Faith was a TI winner. Winner of the very second TI in 2014.
Thanks for bringing it up, Anthony. Good points. Good points there.
He was the captain of Newbie.
Dude, that wasn't as bad as the Carolina Reaper? I don't know how it's in my eye. I can't even open my eyes, dude. Oh.
And Mugi was a TI 7 runner-up.
I need even more milk.
Max is leaving the show.
That's
You can cut to just me and Anthony if you want, Toberto. This is just going to shit. What's going on, Anthony? How you doing, bud?
I'm living. This is your brilliant idea.
Yep. This is my brilliant idea.
I'm fully awake now thanks to this. I was kind of tired. I don't think you fully introduced Max and me to begin with, actually.
Yeah.
If you want to actually start off with that. And then we'll go right back to this.
Max and Anthony are my childhood friends. Ugh. Anthony punched me once in high school in the face, and I got knocked out.
I don't know about that part.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I think you're exaggerating.
I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I deserved it. I cut him and another group off with my car in the street because I was a dumb kid. And we showed up at the restaurant we were planning to eat at. And as soon as I got out of the car, he ran over to me and punched me, knocked me out in the face. I thought I saw the white light for a second. It was pretty terrifying.
I am
But honestly, this is 10 times worse. Okay. I think I'm ready to talk. Are you guys ready to keep going on the news today?
Let's keep going.
I can't even open my eyes. I can't open my eyes. I legitimately I can't open my eye. It hurts too much. Bro, I'm about to coat my face in milk, I swear. I'm gonna do the rest of the show with fucking milk on my face, dude. I can't open my eyes, dude. How can you guys open your eyes right now?
Because I didn't touch my eye.
I didn't touch my eyes either. I don't understand.
I should have given you these safety glasses.
Bro, I need them. Bro, I can't open my eye. It's like on my eyelash.
I think mine finally died down. Let's go on with the show.
I'm living.
All right, thank you, Max.
I'm living.
Anyway, 5 Dota 2 players have been banned. My face feels like I'm gonna fall. It's gonna fall off. Moogie, AQ, Wizard, Waxy, and Faith, as Anthony mentioned before. Faith has won a TI before. That's pretty big. TI is, for those that don't know, pretty much the biggest thing in Dota. The majors don't really matter. Nobody watches the majors anyways. TI is huge. Probably the biggest esport event besides Worlds. In terms of prize pool, it is the biggest prize pool last year. Somewhere upwards of 30 million or some shit. It's fucking nuts. But this year, TI2, it only gets bigger every year. TI2 wasn't that big of a prize pool. And I guess Faith couldn't set himself up for life and was actually known as the main, the big brainiac behind this. Even Newbie's owner, the organization he played for, has had some pretty big glaring scandals in the Chinese scene. The Newbie owner had a massive controversy where he actually gambled away all of his money and then couldn't even support the employees on his team. He couldn't even pay them. So he sold the team, and then it now is apparently the most hated person in the Chinese Dota community. It's pretty nuts, man. Like, I've never thrown a game before. I can say this on my heart. I never cheated in a game before. I mean, the only game I cheated in was like years ago in some shitty fucking free-to-play game that I don't even remember about. Anthony, do you have anything on this topic? I just want to go on the next topic, dude. Fuck. This shit hurts. Anthony, what do you got, bud?
Bro, what were they banned for specifically?
Game fixing.
Good point. I didn't mention that because of the milk. The milk got to my brain. They pretty much got banned for match fixing. So they threw a game and have gone perma-banned before. Fucking nuts. The 2019 prize pool, as Samantha mentioned in their research head, she said it was $40 million in the last prize pool. Fucking insane. What'd you say, Max?
And this happened like a while ago, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. It happened about a year, like August or something like that, I think, right?
2020 sometime. And but I guess the big news is it finally took this long for Valve to come in and say these 5 players and this organization is banned. So that's huge. Like they can't play this game at all anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like the same thing happened with iBuyPower and Counter-Strike, and I was actually there for that. I was a big Counter-Strike fan pretty much all of my childhood in high school and some part of middle school. And they actually got banned. iBuyPower was the first team in any esport to be perma-banned by the org. Every time we talk, it gets hotter and hotter. Feels like I'm spitting flames right now. I ran
out of milk.
Oh my.
Bro, I'm good.
Anyway, it still hurts. This lasting pain for the rest of our lives from that shift. Sapnap was seen with Dreams Cat. Holy shit.
Whoa.
Massive news. Sapnap was seen with his fucking cat, dude. What's with that is Dream seeing Sapnap, Sapnap seeing Dream. Minecraft YouTubers beating each other's houses. Dream hasn't even shown his face. So what the hell's going on? When is Dream gonna show his fucking face, man? Everyone wants to see it. Everybody wants to feel it. Man's 22 years old. He's probably had tons of simps waiting at his doorstep. Has tons of marriages lined up for him. And this man is not showing his face. What the fuck? Show your goddamn face, Dream. I'm tired of looking at your smiley ass, narcissistic piece of shit face with your goddamn YouTube videos that I enjoy so much. Thank you, Sapnap, for picking up his cat. It was very cute. The number 4 topic of today was actually speedrunning. GDQ has started up again. 2 GDQs happen a year, and this one is huge. There's no Dark Souls this year, which I'm incredibly upset about. I love Dark Souls, but as always, there is Mirror's Edge, Super Mario Bros. There's a bunch of other games pretty much going on this year. Tons of other games. Left 4 Dead 2, Skyrim, Mega Man, Zelda, bunch of shit. Sonic! In fact, our director Daniel pointed out before the show that a man got the 2 fastest runs in 2 Sonic the Hedgehog games just this, I think over the past couple days, pretty much. And that's fucking huge. Like, I never even seen GDQ speedruns get the world record. Like, it's usually just for fun. So getting a world record is actually kind of rare. It's not like a common phenomenon, or it's like a phenomenon, you know. It's not really common to happen. But me and Max watch this every year. Anthony loves speedruns as well. GDQ is a week-long event that supports Prevents Cancer Foundation. I'm sorry, this milk keeps getting to me, bro. I can't even present right now. It's currently over $212,000. That's crazy. That's like the fastest I think it's ever happened before to get over $212,000. The runners that did it were Flying Fox and Saxon. Thank you, Sir Daniel. And it's huge. It was back-to-back Sonic World Records. That's fucking insane that it even happened. People that were there in the moment, I'm sure, had a fantastic time. My shirt is absolutely disgusting. And yes, I'm a gamer. Man, what's your guys' favorite speedruns to watch, Max and Anthony? What do you guys love watching when you watch AGDQ every year? Or GDQ every year?
Celeste is probably my favorite speedrun to watch. I tried to be decent at it at one point, and I gave up pretty quickly, but it was fun to do. Like, the mechanics in it are actually just really well done.
I haven't played Celeste. I think Daniel said that that's like his game, like one of his favorite games of all time even. Like, that's a pretty fun-looking game, right?
Oh, yeah. If you like platformers, that's one of the best.
Yeah. What was yours, Max?
I don't know if I have one in particular, but I love the particular runners who can explain what they're doing and showcase all the glitches. Like, there's some speedrunners who they're getting focus in the game and they really need to go get the frame perfect kills and frame perfect glitches and whatnot. But I love the most the ones who can keep it entertaining and explain what they're doing.
Yeah, talking and have kind of running you down what's going on at a various situation. It still hurts to talk, doesn't it?
No,
that's good, fucking crazy.
I'm good.
I always love the runs that go on late at night too, because there's no audience and there's like less viewers. So then they have like the weird games go on that no one's ever heard of. It's like some random NES game from the 80s. And
are some of them ROM hacks and stuff too?
Sometimes, yeah. And then
they show
have,
some
like,
weird
so
games
much
on
passions for this tiny game, and I loved seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just like to go for those weird games. I mean, I'm one of those people. I kind of like to do hipster things and weird shit. Kind of being a contrarian, as my friends know. I mean, like, usually I like to go out the opposite direction just to go out the opposite direction. I'm kind of that kind of asshole in our group, and I think a lot of people are like that too. A lot of people like doing different stuff. A lot of people like doing different games, having a different edge to their life to speedrun different games. But it is time, boys. I don't even know how much show we've actually gone through because of this Paqui goddamn hell chip. I think we did better than Super, though, guys. I think we did a better job than Matthew DeLisi, infamous Paqui challenge doer. I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah. I don't know how you guys think.
I know I did.
We did pretty good.
Anthony took it like a champ, apparently.
Bro, my stomach's not taking it like a champ. My mouth can.
Yeah, I keep burping. If we could have the voice of God come down and read us off from some viewer questions, that'd be great. If we had Daniel himself brace us with our questions as soon as possible, so we can be saved from this Paqui chip, that would be fantastic. Right. And then we're going to go on to other topics and stuff. What's up, Daniel? How you doing, man?
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? What's the questions?
Just hanging out, watching y'all suffer. Got a couple good ones. We're gonna start off with one from a user on Twitter. Looks like Meowt at Meowt.
There was one on my list.
Says, "Hey Dusty, how many episodes you planning on doing?"
Hey, thanks for asking, Meow. Oh, what's up, man? Meow. Basically, we're gonna be doing. How many episodes are you planning on doing? Oh man, that's a good question. I think we're gonna at least go for as long as we can, man. As long as we can do this shit, as long as we can do this stupid shit, like eating this Paqui chip, we're gonna do it as long as possible. I think this is the kind of thing that I like doing. I think this is the kind of thing I'd love to do. I want to get me and my friends to a respectable position here on YouTube, and I think we could do that over time. I think it's gonna take a long time, but I think we're here for the long run. There's no specific amount of shows we're gonna do, but hopefully as long as possible. I mean, these guys, Max and Anthony, are my real friends. I've known them since I was like 12 years old, pretty much. 10, 11 years old. I met Anthony in high school. And then Daniel, Rin, and Samantha, everybody else on the show have just been awesome people that I've known for a long time as well. Or specifically Daniel and Toberto I just met over the past like 6 months. But they've been phenomenally hard workers. And I really want to, get this show off the ground. Make sure that this is not really just about me. This show is about us, about the gang, about the boys, And the sooner that we can get these guys successful, I think I'll be happier. Because, I had a professional esports career that I think went, decently. We played for 2 years, got 2 All-Star appearances, even got a pretty big prize pool win that I didn't even know. I literally woke up before the All-Stars event, and I didn't even know that it was for money. But there you go, $7,000 in the bank. I didn't even know what the fuck was happening, and boom, just like that. So I'm excited. I think we're just going to run as long as we can. There's no specific time frame. Yeah. Daniel, what's up, man? Got another one?
Yeah, we got a couple more. We got one from Twitter user at the Evil Befall. Says, what are some roadblocks you faced on the way to become a professional gamer?
Oh, man. Yeah, I mentioned it in the announcement video. Basically, what happened was I got kicked out of my house. So right out of high school, pretty much in high school, my senior year of high school, I tried to actually go professional in Counter-Strike. That was the game that I played like all the time. Like I got half off of school pretty much, and I just went home and played Counter-Strike all day. But then I realized 6 months into my Counter-Strike venture, I was like, fuck, there's been people playing for literally like 10 years. Like 10 years since CS 1.6. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to go professional in Counter-Strike in 2016. There's no way in hell. I mean, there's been like some anomalies like Stewie, like Twist, like some smaller or younger guys as well that try to do it because I was just turning 18 at the time. But I was pretty much just like, this is not possible for me. This is entirely not possible. I need to look for a new game. So Doom 2016 came out. Everybody hated the multiplayer. Nobody thought I was going to go professional but me. And I was like, fuck you. I'm going professional in this game. It's great. It's fantastic. And people are like, no, Quake is better. Fuck you. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to keep trying. And then all my friends basically told me, they're like, this shit is dead. This is dead. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll go to Overwatch. So then I played Overwatch for a little bit. And I got kicked out of my house after a year because I was supposed to go to college for my parents. That was what they said. And then I had to live with my friend in Utah for like 6 months. We had no hot water, no toilet, no shower. I already mentioned it before. And it was terrible. It was awful. But luckily, then the Atlanta Academy team picked me up, and story goes from there. But yeah, I mean, those were the roadblocks. It's not easy. I mean, there's a reason. I think I told Anthony here on the show, I think Anthony has a higher APM than me, and I think has a better feel for games and is kind of smarter individual than me. So I thought Anthony could actually play games professionally, but he said because of the social, environment, and that's usually what most people in America, that, it's hard to go pro in a game. Like in America, you can't really play games professionally because the socio economical era that we're in America isn't really suited for that, right? Like it's not like Anthony's parents would fucking kick him out.
Oh yeah,
or they would do worse than that. They would disown you probably.
We live in a time where it's like everyone has to go to college, even if it's not the best course for everyone. Like, I don't think college is for everyone, but people say everyone go to college.
Some people just need to be working in the workforce, right? Like, that's just, some people need to be a janitor at fucking some high school bumfuck nowhere. I mean, that's just how it is. Like, some people just are not destined to go to college. And if if that's not for you, it's not for you. Some people want to play pro games. You have something to say, Max?
Oh, here's a hot take here, but that's probably why NA is probably so bad in every single esport. Because just the culture of you got to go to college, video games, not a sport or anything to make a career out of. And
NA is trash, isn't it?
They just do it for pretty much a career. They just go to PC bangs all day and make a living out of it. And I guess if it makes money, then parents are fine with that over there.
Yeah, well, they're very much money focused. Like when you play in an esport, I know the Koreans, the culture there is when you play at a PC cafe and when you play games, that's pretty much okay, you're trying to do this for money. Like, if you make it into the league, you're trying to make your family as much money as possible because you're not going to college. This is your career path that you chose since you were a kid, and this is the path you need to go, and you need to earn people money. And that's why they don't burn out as much, is because like they can just play all day. Like Violet in the Overwatch League, this guy plays Overwatch like 12, 14 hours a day. He fucking loves it. He's a sadist. I don't even know, like a sadistic individual that just loves torturing himself. I don't really understand it. But that's just the culture they have in Korea, and that's not the culture we have in America. And like you said, that's why NA isn't that good, why Western culture is not as good as Korea, or Europe is even better than America, just because of the situation there as well. And like overall, NA is like the only game they're probably good in is like I think it's literally Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty is the only one. Like Counter-Strike they're bad at. Dota they're bad at. League of Legends they're bad at. Overwatch, we're not so great at. We have Super and Moth, but I mean, mostly Koreans on that team. So that's kind of the situation. That's the hardships you go through as an NA individual, an NA pro, and it's not easy. It's a tough life, man. Daniel, is there any more? Is there? Max, what's going on?
Oh, would you say that being an esports player in NA is to get to that point is harder than Korea or EU or anywhere else?
I'd say I don't know if it's harder anywhere, man. Like I think it's. I mean, I'm sure like you could make a point that like it's because of our politics and our scenario that it's harder or whatever. You want to take that path, like, oh, it's how it was raised that made it so hard. Which I mean, that's a valid point, but like realistically, it's all on you. Like you can only go as far as you want to go. The only drive that you have is within yourself. And if you want to be a professional esports player, if you want to be a professional gamer, that's really your choice. And I'm sure there's things fighting against you. Everybody has that battle, but you got to be the one to say, no, fuck you. I'm just going to do it anyway, And, that's just on how that's how on your wired or whatever in your social life or whatever. But I think it's just still on you, Daniel, is there any more? Any God of heaven? Is there any more questions for us today, bud?
Yeah, we got another one ready for us. It's from
the last one here.
At Aspheron. Says, what events are you looking forward to seeing most when LAN tournaments and in-person events are possible again?
Good point. I'm looking forward to when Overwatch League is going to be live again. Overwatch League is incredibly fun to watch in person. I wanted to watch TI. That was actually the one I was looking forward to most. I was planning on flying out to Sweden. For the TI event. Because that was gonna be awesome. TI is always a fucking great time every year. It's seriously fun to watch. I've wanted to go to TI for years now. It's basically a giant carnival. They have a bunch of different games, a bunch of different areas to go to. It's like a giant community, like of thousands of people in person to go hang out. I mean, if you watched TI last year at China, it was absolutely huge. It was so much fun. It was crazy. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that's the most event I'm looking forward to. But Overwatch League itself was a lot more fun in person, in my opinion. I think Overwatch League in person made it a lot more enjoyable experience for me. And it's kind of why I think I burned out a little bit last year in Overwatch League, is because it was online and I was like, this is not as fun. I can't yell at the crowd. Like a lot of the fun was just yelling at the crowd, interacting with the crowd, yelling stupid shit. Which obviously, I still yell stupid shit now. But the fact that I could yell to people, I could just like, before the game or whatever, I would just yell something like, fuck their mothers! Or something like that. Just some cringy-ass shit before the game would start. Just because it's fun. It's just like, pissing off people in that regard is not necessarily the ploy, the idea. It's more about like releasing that energy, that in an environment that's safe for that. I don't know. It's a competitive environment. It's supposed to be high energy. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an entertaining venue. And I'm there to make it more entertaining. I'm there to have a fun time. I'm not there to just sit there and be bored to shit, fucking brain dead, just playing a game all day. I'm there to fucking yell at people. That's fun for me, Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was the big reason for that. Anyway, let's move on, boys. Let's move on here. We got a couple more to go through before Jake is on. We're going to have Jake here on at 4 p.m. PT in about 25 minutes. That's going to be great. Tune in for that. Edward Gaming's parent company, their company name is Super Gen Group. They spent 10 billion yuan, or 1.5 billion USD, on a brand new, as Jake Lucky said on Twitter, an esports city. They basically making this massive facility, this massive area, to be their new headquarters for Edward Gaming. It's supposed to have 10,000 capacity. It's supposed to have 500,000 square meters. It's supposed to be built by 2023. It has its very own breakdance facility. It has a goddamn breakdance facility, bro. What the fuck is that? How do you have a breakdance facility in this goddamn esports city that's got indoor skydiving? It's supposed to create 2,000 esports jobs, 300 planned events a year. They're supposed to get 6,000 people for just game viewing alone. And it's supposed to just be this awesome, like, area. They have a fucking green roof garden. They have a green roof garden. They have a whole garden that's supposed to create this, like, self-sustained vibe. Although I don't really know if China's doing that great of a job at that. They're supposed to actually be this crazy esports city that's never been done before. People don't even have venues in America or in China. Like, there's barely any esports venues. And these guys are making an esports city. That's crazy. It's absolutely insane, especially because Edward Gaming, I mean, they're successful. They've done well in LPL before, but they're not even really that great of a League of Legends team, to be honest with you. They kind of get outmatched by RNG and some of the other teams, but they usually don't do too well at Worlds anyways. But, I mean, LPL, they do pretty good, and I think overall, I mean, they have China money, so pretty good for them, honestly, overall. I mean, what do you guys think? Max and Anthony, you have anything on this esports city? You guys want to visit it someday? You guys want to go with me to China?
Bro, I think it's crazy and amazing. I want to go.
Skydiving.
Yeah, they have skydiving, a breakdance facility. A breakdance facility.
House.
Look at these moves. Look at these moves.
What does gaming have to do with the skydiving facility?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. They're gonna play.
Dude.
They're gonna play on the Switch. I'll probably break my back. I actually hurt my back deadlifting before, so that's not exactly a smart move by me. But that's actually crazy. They have a whole esports like city, man. Like I don't know. Do you guys actually? Dude, I'd be down to go visit it if it's like that cool of an attraction.
Well,
I mean,
what are actually the esports facility parts of it? Is it just like a stadium or something?
So yeah, they have like a whole stadium and / viewing experience area where it says like 6,000 people can go and watch the event. It's going to be kind of nuts. It's going to be kind of crazy. There's going to be like a bunch of people watching in person. I think it's at 10,000 capacity, but like 6,000 of that is dedicated towards just viewing esports or whatever event they're doing, because it said there's going to be like 300 events pretty much a year. And as you see, that's what it is right here. That's absolutely look at it. That's the pre-image before it's going to actually happen. It's planned for 2023. It looks futuristic. It looks like a UFO almost. Like what the hell is that, dude? Like,
are they going to have like an outdoor gaming event or something like that?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing is it's still in development. It's just barely started. It's just barely popped off. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing, guys. Twitter hot take segment. I like this segment a lot. Twitter hot takes, baby. Let's go. Let's have some Twitter hot takes. DPay criticizes Overwatch League commentators. That's actually huge because he said that there are a majority of the commentators. He didn't say they're trash, okay? He didn't go that hard. He was just criticizing them, saying their game knowledge isn't as good as somebody like Jake, the guest we're going to have on today. DPay says Jake is the best Overwatch League caster. He went over his issues as well. DPay seemed to have a lot of issues, as you know, as well. DPay will actually be on next week. That will be announced this weekend. That's going to be pretty crazy. We'll have DPay come on here. Maybe we'll have some hot takes, hot topics. Always love talking to DPay. He was my coach before Overwatch League on Congarna. Smart guy, smart individual, high-ranked player. Was actually high GM before he became a coach. And overall is a very high energy, high level coach. And very much opinionated. So I'm curious to see his takes and stuff like that. But I've heard a lot of other players and coaches say this. The biggest thing that I'm going through, because I'm going through the player side of it and the coaching side, and the casting side of it, like mentally, that's what I'm thinking of both of these. Like I'm thinking of like, as a player, like they're right. Like sure, there's a lot of stuff they miss. There's a lot of things they miss. There's a lot of stuff they don't go over. And there's a lot of things that they don't talk about in terms of like the intricacy that is playing an Overwatch League team. Now, on the other side, as a viewer / commentator, you always want to have the most entertaining thing on the fact. Like you want to do entertainment first. After all, that's the whole point of Overwatch. Like that's the whole point of some of these shows in these games and these esports events. It's supposed to be entertaining. You're not just here to watch two people compete and be bored. So the commentator is just going to try to make that more entertaining, more fun, more exciting. With their voice inflection, with their comments, with their vocabulary, whatever it is, they're just trying to make it more fun. And overall, I think that most of the casters in Overwatch League, if not all of them, do a pretty good job at that. And overall, they have to combine both information and both their backing. So it's pretty much just like you have to have four things, in my opinion. You have to have four things to be a good commentator. You have to have a good voice that's not terrible to listen to. You can't have this whiny ass fucking baby voice. Unfortunately, for most people genetically, they just don't have a good commentator voice. They need to have a good background to emphasize their opinions. They need to be a player, for example. You need to be a player or a commentator that's been in it for a while, or somebody that has a lot of talking experience or whatever, or are very ingrained in the community, basically. That type of thing. They need to have good flow. They need to have good grammar. They need to be able to get across their opinions and what they have to say in a good way, where that creates a story, creates storylines. They need to be overarching, thinking about everything. And they also need to pretty much need to sound informed enough about everything. Like, they can't really just be an idiot going out there and be like, oh yeah, this here guy, they killed the dragon, oh, they killed the baron. And they can't just be like saying like some boring ass shit that has nothing to do with the game itself. You know, you gotta have some ideas behind things. You can't just be ranting about nothing. And it's kind of important. It's kind of important, man. I mean, like, overall, casters have a hard job. I really do think they have a hard job. I mean, sure, like, you get paid to talk about games. Sure, that sounds easy. It's really not. It's not that easy. It's tougher than you think. I mean, I've done it in the past, but I was terrible at some points. Like, I've progressed. It's something you have to progress at and get better at. But when I first started, I said something like, during my games, I'd be like, holy cow, Batman! And I just said some stupid ass shit that didn't make any sense, and just were like some shitty catchphrases that I came up with that didn't make any sense and weren't even funny or interesting to listen to, and it just sounded kind of cringe. And I would say it like 4 or 5 times. That's the kind of thing. That's the kind of growing pains people go through. That's what people have to learn, and that's why you have to appreciate some of these casters. You have to talk to some of these casters about what you want to improve on if you're trying to be a caster or whatever. Because a lot of the casters that have come before you, a lot of the casters that are. That's their living. DOTA, Monte Cristo, all those guys. Even if people think they're controversial and don't like them, they're very intelligent. They're very smart. They have very good inflection, and they have a lot of good word choices and stuff like that. And they have done esports for long enough. Oh my God, the milk. It's starting to catch up to me, dude. It's starting to hit my stomach, the heats from earlier. Holy crap. Anyway, commentators, casters, I think don't get enough credit. And at the same time, they always have stuff to work on. Okay, another Twitter hot take. Everybody, FaZe Banks was caught at a well, this is not really a hot take. This is something crazy that happened on Twitter. FaZe Banks was caught at a club without a mask, bro, during COVID. During COVID, he was celebrating coming back to LA or something like that, because the menu, when in the video that it shows, it basically just has him on his phone and then somebody else recording him, and then it pans up to a monitor that said, welcome back to like their infamous club or whatever. I don't know, man. You can't be at a club during COVID, bro. James Harden already did this before in the NBA. You can't just be out at a club without a mask. Like, what the fuck is going on? Did you get tested before? Did you get everybody in the club tested before you came out, man? This is just crazy. Like, what the hell, man? Like, you can't just be outside without a mask. Like, Anthony Max, what do you guys think? Do you think? I mean, you guys we haven't hung out. We haven't even hung out. Like, I go over to Max's house to drop him off a new microphone, and he's like, yeah, stay 6 feet away, bitch. And I had to drop it off from him, and then he had to, like, step back. Yeah. Like, we haven't even hung out since COVID, because I mean, none of you guys want to hang out. None of you want to take the risk. None of us want to take the risk. We got to be safe during this whole pandemic,
it's
right?
Not safe. I'm not going out.
Yeah, you're only one block down, and I don't want to see you.
Look, and I don't want to really rag on FaZe Banks too much here, because I mean, like, I get it. It's been a long time, but at the same time, like, I'm kind of worried for him. Like, what if somebody there had COVID? What if FaZe Banks and his boys caught COVID? And what if they're dying right now? Like, what if they're in the hospital and we don't even know about it, Like, I hope they're okay. I hope they're all right. I hope they didn't catch COVID while they were outside. I'm concerned for them, This isn't really about us. This is about concerned for FaZe Banks and the boys, because I want to see more of his parties after COVID's done, because I got to be real. Their parties are lit. I went out to the Atlanta FaZe homestand recently, and when they were at the homestand, they had this huge party, this massive party. Baby Bay told me about it, because I didn't go to the one the day before. And he was like, yeah, FaZe Banks goes hard, bro. They go hard at the parties. They spend thousands of dollars on their parties, tens of thousands of dollars on their parties, millions on the event. It's absolutely insane how big of events these guys throw. Like, FaZe knows how to party. I get that. But now you shouldn't be partying. You shouldn't be partying during this time, man. You got to calm it down a little bit. There's nothing to party about. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's dying. We're waiting on stimulus checks out here. You know what I'm saying?
I was just waiting for you to call him a dumbass again. How can you defend that?
I'm not defending it. I'm saying I'm worried for him. I don't want him to get COVID. I don't want him to get COVID-19.
Well, then he shouldn't go out and party.
You're right. You're right. Don't go out and party. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying I'm worried for his health right now, because nobody seems to be worried for his health. I'm worried that he's going to get injured. Yeah, well, yeah, and the people around him. Okay, well, he did it to himself. Yeah, but I get that. But you still, even if you do something, even if somebody freaking even if somebody shoots themselves in the leg, you're still worried for their safety. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's shooting himself in the leg, foot, and mouth, and I'm worried for him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I can't be worried for another human being.
I'm still
what are you
gonna
saying,
call him an
Max?
idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, he's an idiot. Okay, fine. I was peer pressured into calling FaZe Banks an idiot. Now, he's not. Well, yeah, he is an idiot. He's totally an idiot. Oh man. All right, Anthony, what's your opinion on this? You think he's still that big of an idiot as you think?
Yes. There's
only one answer.
It's just not right. Dustin seems like he's dying over there.
It's coming back up,
Is that
dude.
the vomit?
No, it's like I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to freaking gross the viewers out today, dude. It's not great exactly what's happening in my stomach right now.
I'm
I'm
losing my stomach.
Yeah, you're losing it pretty bad. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's coming in there. It's like a pit. It's like a pit in your stomach. It just burns. It burns. It looks like we're gonna have Jake on as soon as possible here, so we can chat to him. Oh man, but that chip just absolutely fucked the show. I didn't think it would actually hurt us that bad, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think that.
How did you know? You done? The
I thought it would be
research
over
for
within like 5 minutes. No! I thought it would be done. I didn't think it would be that bad.
You're an idiot, Dustin.
You want to do a serious show?
Yeah, a couple more questions.
All right. Well, I mean, shit, man. All right, we could put in some more viewer questions. In the meantime, if anybody has any more questions, send them over to our hashtag TDBS show or in the chat, and we'll give them an answer here. And if Daniel wants to read them off, are you going to read them off for us, Sir Daniel? He probably will. He'll probably hop in just a moment here. But a lot of crazy shit today, man. I mean, the esports city is kind of nuts. I'm looking forward to that, honestly. That's going to be cool. Also, somebody was signed. We'll talk about that to Jake. Teru was signed by to the Vancouver Titans just today. That was just announced about 30 minutes or 40 minutes ago. Absolutely crazy news. That team has now picked up a solid player. I don't really know much about him. It looks like he hasn't placed really good in that many tournaments. But as you know, Korean players are king in the Overwatch scene. And it doesn't really matter what team they're on before, because team play, that you're only as good as your team. It's like football. Overwatch League, you're only as good as your team.
All right.
Daniel, what's going on?
Got in here with another question. This one might be directed a little bit more towards Anthony than anybody else, but from Dash Rug, anybody on the show crew a fan of fighting games? I'd love to hear some FGC talk, specifically Dragon Ball FighterZ and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. We're oh my God, Anthony's good at MK actually, but I know he's more of a Tekken guy recently. But yeah, as we know, before I let Anthony talk, actually we'll have Toph on tomorrow. So we'll definitely be talking about FGC stuff. We love FGC here. I like Smash Melee. But Anthony's definitely a bigger head than I am in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest two games were always Tekken and Melee, but I do like to play Dragon Ball FighterZ and Mortal Kombat on the side. I like watching it. I don't know if I'll be able to talk with people here about it. I don't know. Max, do you pay any attention to it at all?
I used to play Street Fighter V, but that game's going downhill.
Oh yeah, big time. I actually haven't touched Mortal Kombat much since 9. I just haven't had any people to play it with, and I'm not a big fan of playing online unless I've gotten decent at the game first. What about you, Dustin?
Oh man, I'm terrible at FGCs. I'm pretty much like trash, dude. I tried getting good at Mortal Kombat with you, but you only touch Mortal Kombat for 2 seconds, and you just kick my ass after I played for 10 hours or something like that. I'm just not built for fighting games. I'm just an FPS player, I think that has to do with the background. Some people say it's genetics. That's yeah.
I think it's that I touched fighting games a lot more as a kid. You had to focus more on FPS, and I had to focus more on just fighting games in general.
Yeah, because I always started out with I think I started out with Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2, if you guys remember that game, the old one, not the new one, on the PlayStation 2. I started out with that game. I actually played some, if anybody remembers MK Unleashed, that was the game I played on the PlayStation 2. That game was fucking lit. That was my favorite it's just this motorcycle game where you just drive around, you could race monster trucks and airplanes and stuff. It was nuts. So much fun. But yeah, I don't know. I was always an FPS guy. And I think overall, that's why I was saying you, Anthony. I was like, Anthony probably could have played sports professionally, because I do think that it does have to do with genetics. I think there's something in there genetically that is either it's focus or something. I don't exactly know what the intangible is. I think that maybe will just be discovered over time. But there's something that a certain person has when they're born that a lot of other people, like normal people, can't go pro in games. You know, like a normal person doesn't have the reaction time. If you have over like 200 MS reaction time or whatever, like you might not go pro in a game. Anthony has like below 150. I have like 160. Everybody I know, like in terms of I think pro players, like I was on the lower end. I was like 160, 165, I think, reaction time MS wise. And I think Gator and Hawk and some of their guys that my teammates on the Atlanta Reign, they were like, I think 140, 150 or something like that. I think Sugar Free was like 135 or some shit. Like, man has lightning speed reflexes, not even humanly possible, you'd think. But there's some people that are like that. Like there's some freaks. I think there's some genetic freaks that people don't really know about. And I think that it's in our esports scene. Like, there's more people than you think have to be genetically predisposed to playing games professionally than you think, I think. Like, Anthony, you probably could have gone pro, man. I'm telling you, you could have potentially played professionally if your parents weren't such assholes. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to be an Anthony's family here, but you know.
I mean, ideally, I still get into Tekken eventually. It's my goal. You know, when COVID's over, I can't go to any tournaments right now.
Yeah, dude, Tekken would be cool. I'd like to see if you can go pro in Tekken.
Follow up.
All right, so we got
All right, what's the last one, Daniel?
got one last question before we bring Jake in here.
My stomach is dying right now, bro. Oh my god.
It's your idea to do the chip first, so I mean,
bro, this hurts more than the
you.
Carolina Reaper does, man. Oh my god.
all right. So from user mdog_, thoughts on the melee scene, and will y'all be commenting on smaller scenes in addition to the major esports?
Yeah, I think so. I think Rainbow Six Siege is Samantha's a big fan of over here in our research head. A lot of other people are fans of Smash about FGC games. I think those are some of the not smaller games, but kind of different communities. I think the way I see it is that esports are kind of in tiers. You know what I mean? Like there's like a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3. And then, you know, I think tier 3 is probably, maybe there's a tier 4, but I think there's kind of like a tier 3 and a tier 4. I would say tier 1 games are probably something like, I think games can fall in and out of tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So don't mind me, I think teams can always come back up to tier 1, games can always reach back. I think Rainbow Six Siege is one of those that has gone from tiers to tiers, like often. I think tier 1 games are probably something like League of Legends. I'd say Counter-Strike. I guess I don't know if I would consider Dota tier 1. I kind of want to because TI is so big. I'd say Dota maybe even is tier 1. Would Fortnite be tier 1? I think that their World Cup makes it tier 1 because World Cup is one of the biggest watched things. So I would say Fortnite's tier 1. Their tournaments aren't very good though. That's the thing. Even Fortnite, even avid Fortnite fans and community members don't really like the tournaments that much because Fortnite is getting kind of weirder to watch and the tournaments are getting a little mumbled, you know what I'm saying? And their seasons are a little bit weird. But I guess we consider Fortnite tier 1. And that might be the 4 games in tier 1 scene. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, that mobile game we talked about the other day, I don't know if we consider that tier 1 because that's just in China.
No.
Yeah, that game.
Not.
That game looks like dog shit. I gotta be real. That game looks like complete dog shit. It's big in South America too. What was it called again?
It's
Garena Free Fire.
Reign Free Fire. Like, I guess we gotta research that game if we want to be a fucking daily esports talk show. It's the second biggest show on the entire goddamn planet, apparently. It's our third biggest game on the entire planet. We don't even know about it. Like, what the hell, man? Mobile games are actually huge, though. Mobile games are legitimately huge, and they make so much money for these these companies. That's why Blizzard had such a big announcement with Diablo. Diablo Mobile, whatever, was like their biggest thing, and they probably make a lot of money. And no, I don't think Overwatch League is tier 1. I don't think Overwatch League. I think Overwatch League is maybe tier 2. I gotta be real here, boys. Overwatch League is maybe tier 2. Like, it's just in terms of viewership, it's not as high as the other guys were. I think it was a tier 1 at some point. I think maybe season 1 it was tier 1, and I think maybe after season 1 it kind of dropped off to tier 2 a little bit. But I think it can always go back up. I think Overwatch 2 could always pump the brakes back up. I think they can always bring it back up to tier 1. I just think Overwatch as a game itself is kind of hard to watch. I don't think that it really bodes itself to being a viewer esport. But I think it's still a fun game. I think it's still one of the best games out there, one of the best well-made games on the market. I mean, me and Anthony and Max have all enjoyed Overwatch in the past, and I still enjoy it every now and again. I'm on kind of a vendetta break with it, or like I'm on a little break with the I used that word wrong. On a little bit of a break with Overwatch for now, but I think Overwatch itself is a pretty good game. I just think it's tier 2. I think I'd probably put Smash. No, I don't know if I put Smash tier 2. I think Smash might be tier 3. But I don't know, because they're pretty avid fans. It's kind of, I think we'll make our own list another day, but I think it's still kind of mumble jumbled past the tier 2 and tier 3. I think Madden would be a game that's like tier 3. Some of these sports games are like tier 3 games, you know? But I think like it's like a fluid spectrum, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot like, I don't know, what else it's pretty much like a giant spectrum. I mean, there's not really a direct, like, oh, this game's tier 1. It'll be tier 1 forever. League of Legends could definitely die. Like, there's that could always happen. You know, League of Legends might not be the biggest game forever. It probably won't be. I mean, there'll probably be other games. That's the thing. Esports live and die. This League of Legends is the only game that's not been up and then died. It's kind of gone upward trajectory for a consistent amount of time. It's kind of weird. It's one of the first games to kind of do that, right? Like, it's been, how long has League of Legends been out for? It's been out for like, I don't know, it's at least 10 years, right?
Yeah,
at least 10
Played
years.
it at least in middle school.
So
it's been
probably
years.
2008, something like that. I think 2008 came out of beta or something like that. I don't quite remember. But League of Legends is definitely up there. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it could eventually die. It just doesn't seem like it will. Like, it's one of those things that keeps running. It's like the football of esports almost, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it came out in 2009 in October, as Tolberto said. So, I don't know. But we'll definitely go over the small games. We'll definitely go over the big games. We'll go over every game pretty much. That's the point of our show. We're here to talk about fun shit. We're here to talk about, you know, live stream fails too. We'll diversify over here. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching Rust. I've been watching the drama going on with XQC calling out Myth for stream sniping. I think we talked about that the other day in another one before this. You know, we'll talk about all that shit. You know, I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the fucking news that has to do with people being dickbags. And we're excited. We're going to have Jake on the show now. We're going to pop Jake in here in just a moment here. We'll ask him some questions. I have some questions for him. I'm sure you guys have some questions as well. Jake is one of the people I've known for the longest time in esports as a whole. I've known him for maybe 3 to 4 years. And it's going to be exciting. I'm fucking looking forward to this. And I think he should be good to go in just a moment here. But it looks like we're still having some time before that happens. So, I mean, we'll talk him up here, you know what I'm saying? Jake has been on the Houston Outlaws for 2 years. Man's been playing for a while, and here he is. Okay, we'll give him a little bit of intro here. Guest today, boys. The guest today is someone who is absolutely not average. Some call him the Tony Romo of Overwatch League. I mean, I'm one of them. I might be calling him the Tony Romo. Man retired, and his team immediately went to shit without good leadership, without the god himself. None other than Jake Lyon. Let's go, Jake!
Let's go, Jake!
Let's go, Jake!
Wow, the Tony Romo of Overwatch. That might be the first time I've heard that. But
I've heard it all the time, dude. I've heard it all the time, I swear. How you doing, man? How you doing, Jake? How's it going, bro?
I'm good. You know, life's pretty good. I think quarantine's been weird, but I feel like I made a lot of positives out of it. You know, I think at the end of the day,
oh yeah,
you know, I have nothing really to complain about right now. I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, we're looking forward to hopefully you casting in 2021. You know, you think that's going to happen, or are you going other different paths? I mean, I've seen you've been interacting with Plat Chat and stuff like that. What's your plans, man?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, I think the thing about the contracts, they're only like 1 year at a time for casting, so it is still sort of up in the air. I haven't like made a finalized deal yet, so you know, there's different possibilities. Looking forward. I know people are probably waiting eagerly to hear that news, but I can promise I'll share it the moment there's like a signed deal.
Yeah, no, I don't. Listen, we don't want to disclose anything you don't want to disclose today. You know what I'm saying? We're here to talk about you. But actually, I am interested because a lot of people I haven't actually talked to you about this. That's why I'm curious, and that's why I want to ask. Is because like people have mentioned that like in the past, like why you're such a good and articulate person is because of your parents, right? Like your mom like kind of raised you to be like a politician. How did that work exactly? Like I've heard some things behind the scenes. I don't know actually what it is. Could you elaborate, please?
I don't know about being a politician. It's mostly my I think just like doing a lot of communication stuff in school. When I was in high school, I did speech and debate competitively for 4 years, and my school is a public school, but the team was pretty competitive. We did a lot of like travel competitions, going to a lot of competitive events. So it was pretty serious and you know, a lot of practice. But I think even though I didn't keep up with that and I didn't want to do it in college and stuff, ultimately I think it was still like this huge place to learn like how to just communicate effectively, how to make an argument effectively. And I think if you can do that, then you can kind of communicate anything you want to people. And at the end of the day, it's like that understanding of communication. And then my parents work in advertising, so I also understand a lot about, you know, like what is advertising and, you know, how do you behave on camera, like what is sort of expected of you, how to do those things properly, and how to just be comfortable in those, you know, more public scenarios. So I think you put those two things together, and it's just experience that most esports players don't have.
Would you say it's like mainly because of you? Like I mean, like it was because of how you were born and raised, right? So it was a mixture of both almost. Like you kind of like wanted to go down that path. It was like what you were interested in pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, like it was the things I did kind of gave me the experience for it, but definitely like my parents had a big hand in that. Just growing up in that an environment where like like if your parents work in advertising, you sort of understand the business a little bit. And I think the key thing is that esports and social media, streaming, like everything online these days is ultimately an advertising business, right? That's where the money actually comes from, whether it's sponsors, whether it's ad revenue. At the end of the day, it is all like entertainment period is advertising, like sports are advertising, from a business perspective. So I think, and building brands and stuff. So I think just being comfortable with that and like sort of understanding those fundamental realities helps you understand the business of esports, and I think puts you in a better position to succeed in any career in the space.
So why the hell did you choose esports and like gaming and stuff over instead of like just going to school for, I don't know, like a different company like Apple or whatever, or like one of the other companies that's, not just gaming and not just like I would say that esports is still a bubble, some would say. And I think overall, like you decided gaming because of why? Like what was the reason behind choosing gaming as like your career path?
I think the funny thing about gaming and the way I did it, right? Like it would have made more sense given what I was just talking about to do like, to work in one of the orgs or something, or to get like more traditional job. But that for me, I had this weird confluence of I had these special skills, but what I really am passionate about is competing and playing video games and just wanting to win at the highest level. I always had this feeling of with gaming, like I've always been a very competitive person, but I never really did much team sports after like middle school. I never really did it in high school. It was just the speech and debate, which I liked, but it wasn't like really my passion. And then gaming for me, competitive gaming was always what I was super excited about. So the fact that I, when Overwatch came out and I started playing the game really seriously, started investing a lot of time into it and realizing that like I could actually be a top player. I think from there I was like, well, I can't miss this chance. Like this is like my feeling was like, this is my one shot.
Yeah, you don't have a shot. Yeah, exactly.
There's only one, like there's never going to happen again. So if I just give it up and say, screw it, and I just play video games casually, or I go all in on it. And I just knew that at the time in college, I really wanted to go all in and just see it through.
Yeah, because everybody wants a fallback necessarily, because who knows if it works out or whatever, or who knows if it doesn't. And I mean, like I think that's a pretty common path. Like I think I went through a very similar path, whereas like in middle school and before then, I kind of just played games as a kid or whatever. And then like in high school, it's like okay, things are getting a little bit more serious. You're getting ready for college. You're not really having fun playing sports or whatever. It's time to get ready with your education. So like people have to focus on that, and some people don't really play games or whatever. And that kind of thing always happens. It's kind of that route that I think in America people take, whereas in, you're not really preparing just for gaming since a kid. I think we had that debate before coming on the show, like that Korea's infrastructure is definitely a lot more focused on gaming, but America's is more focused on education. And I guess Korea's still focused on education, but they have more of an infrastructure with the PC cafes and stuff like that to make it more of like an esports centered thing, I guess. Well, like for example, like Overwatch League is very heavily Korean dominated. I mean, we noticed like today, Vancouver Titans just signed a Korean, Teru. I think is he the only Korean I think on that team too. I think Vancouver's only Korean player now is Teru. Do you know much about this guy? Do you know much about Teru from the O2 Blast, Jake? Or
no, not specifically, but I do think like I've actually been learning Korean this year, sort of as like a side project from like the last maybe like year and a half or something at this point, taking lessons and stuff. So I started to I've talked a lot with my tutor about this. She's awesome, but we've had these sort of in-depth conversations also about what makes the culture of Korea different, and why are like games that are popular in Korea, why are the esports dominated by Korean players? Because it's true in Overwatch, but it's also true in like League of Legends, where there's like the import rule, but like if you like every team just has Koreans on the import slots, so it's like clear that that there's a disproportionate share of the top players in competitive games are from Korea, unless the game is just unplayed in Korea. Then okay, whatever. There's no one playing in Korea. Then okay, there's no pros. Games like Counter-Strike or whatever, where it's just not that popular.
Yeah, because they've been playing Crossfire over there. Yeah,
exactly. So, but what her perspective on it was that in Korea is just a very competitive culture, like from school, from like very young age. Like in the West, it's not common to have stuff like class rank anymore, especially not at like when you're a young kid. Like maybe you would have it in high school or college, but basically never until then. Like would be weird in the West. But in Korea, it's like very common to have everyone class rank and to have in general grading being on a curve. So you're like competing for placement slots rather than just like, oh, we all did good on the test, everyone's happy. It's like, no, like I need to do better than the average, whatever. And that culture kind of bleeds into everything. So whether it's gaming or like competitive fields like technology or medicine or law, that people are just super, super competitive and like really want to be the best of the best. And that's the mindset that will allow you to actually succeed in something like esports. That's the same way. It's super competitive. It's just about results at the end of the day. And I think there's a cultural strength there for Korea.
Yeah, I think like as you mentioned, I mean, in America, like we don't really have that. I mean, like Korea has that like that class grading, like you said. I mean, like, but in America, you've been giving trophies for getting second place, third place, fourth place, or whatever since you're a freaking kid. I have like 20 trophies in my back closet, and I don't think I won anything in my entire life as a kid. Like, I just have so many trophies, just like useless, pretty much. Like, it's just like, hey, you played in this event here, congratulations. And I'm like, all right, I mean, I'll take it. I'm a kid. I love trophies. That's sick. I won something. And then you get that dopamine. You get that like, oh, I did something good. And you were literal dog shit. Like there was no trophy to be given, but you were just like, I guess that's just America's culture now. Everybody gets a trophy. I mean, I know a lot of people rant about this. This is kind of like the talk in America is that everybody kind of gets a trophy these days, But I mean, it's true. It rings true. I mean, in Korea, that's not how it is. Max, do you have a question here for Jake? What's going
on? Well, hey, Jake. How's it going?
Hey,
Max. So, I know we called you like the Tony Romo of like casting Overwatch and stuff, and I noticed on your Twitch and your VODs and stuff, you have like these coaching videos too. You're like talking through these plays that these I guess other guys are playing, and I was wondering like how. If you ever thought of like coaching and things like that over just being the entertainer and like the bridge to the audience through casting.
Yeah, it's definitely
about coaching.
Oh, sorry. It's definitely something I've been thinking about a lot, and it's like it's an avenue I'm certainly considering, especially with next year, like without having 100% being finalized on what my plans are. It's something I'm keeping in mind. A possibility. I think what I really enjoy, what I've found, like through my time as a pro player and sort of in the working world, quote unquote, because it's pretty weird part of the working world, but it's the industry nonetheless. I sort of realized what I really enjoy is having like lots of different challenges, having like lots of like wearing many hats is like the phrase commonly used in business, to do like lots of different roles. So I think it's definitely something I'm interested in. I've like most of the stuff I've done on my YouTube and stuff has been really fulfilling to me actually to work with other players, especially those like tier 2 players on the cusp of improving, who are really, really motivated to make it to that next level. It's very fun for me, and I feel like my strong suit as a player is always, or has always been, understanding the game and understanding like what you need to do to win in a certain situation, rather than like being the most mechanically gifted player ever. I think it's actually funny. I probably shouldn't have played DPS in my career, but it's a little bit too late now. It's like I'm all in. But,
main support or something like that?
Yeah, I think I might be have stronger fundamentals on that role. But I actually love DPS, and I think I'd make the same choice if I could go back. I don't regret anything. So it's too much fun.
And you've been like a I don't know, I want to say like a coach player, if that makes sense, like a personable. You focus more on the personal aspect of it, because Overwatch is a team sport, obviously, right? Like, you can't just rely on just yourself to win the game. Otherwise, Fleta would win every year, pretty much, or whatever, or some Profit would win every year. It's about the team play. It's about the team organization. And I mean, that you even outside of just gaming, not to get sappy, but I mean, like, you've done that even with me. Like out of like an outsider almost to just casting, like you've kind of brought me in and helped me out and kind of put me in contact with Overwatch League's people and stuff like that. And even that has been incredibly helpful outside of just gaming and playing the game professionally. So it's like some people are just kind of naturally helpers, if that makes sense. And I think you're one of them. And that kind of bodes to being a better leader and a better coach and whatever that you need with the team. I mean, not to rag on Outlaws or anything like that, but do you think Outlaws, since you left, has gotten worse? Or do you think that, like, not to hope, I don't want to get on a negative note about them. Like, I'm sure you still love Outlaws and you still love the organization and stuff like that. But do you think that, like, for example, this next year, do you think they're going to do good?
Well, I mean, I think that, like, to look at last year, so like the year after I left, I think that the year was super tough for like a lot of reasons. So I don't know if you can really drill down to one thing or say like, oh, I would have made this huge impact while I was there. I think honestly, I really needed to not play competitively last year. Like, I've changed so much in my life, and from like my eating habits to working out to just living my life in a healthier, sustainable way, fixing all these like issues and bad habits I used to have. So this last year has been like made absolutely the right decision there, no matter what. And I don't think I would have been like an effective, good player had I continued to play last year. I would have been kind of running myself into the ground. So I think taking that year away was exactly what I needed, and it was like the only course of action. But as far as the future for them, I mean, I really think that they've made huge strides, more like between last year and this year. Looking at you know stuff like Matt coming on as GM, I think that's super exciting. Now he's actually empowered to. I mean, he kind of came on as GM like halfway through last season, but that's like the actual meat of your job is in the off season, right? It's like picking the roster.
Yeah.
It's like deciding who you sign and what contracts they get, and you know, like the structure of the
GM's
team,
just
how you
managing.
organize things. So if you're not bad in the off season, I mean, you're basically your role is much less important in the actual season, like in the duration, unless you're making trades or something like that. So I think looking at like bringing on folks like Junkbuck, who's someone I really believe in, and a lot of very, very strong players making a huge. I mean, like the only players left are what Dante and Hydration. And
I guess
from
so,
my perspective,
from that
I
original
think
seson 1.
even back in the day, I thought that the team needed like way bigger roster adjustments, even after season 1, but they didn't do that. Didn't really listen to my recommendations after season 1, but that's okay. But now I think under the
things
new
change.
leadership,
I mean,
things are looking really. Actually, I'm pretty excited about the roster. I think they could be pretty strong next season.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are confused about, or not confused about, but are up on Juby still. I think he has a lot to prove this year. There's a couple players they signed. That's good. That's what you want. You want to always have a player that's hungry, because you don't want a bunch of people that don't want to play. I mean, like, I agree. Like last year, I think I was on a similar boat to you, where last year playing, I was like, okay, maybe I should have retired or taken a break even the year after. I mean, I know the previous year was my first year in Overwatch League in Season 2, but I mean, Season 3 was just, especially with everything going on and especially with not playing in person, there was a lot of issues that kind of stacked on to being like, okay, burnout is starting to kick in. You're like, the game itself is still really good. It's still a fantastic game, but it's like, man, I can't feel motivated or whatever to play the game. And you know, that's just kind of what happens, I guess, is that when you get older, when things change, when your chemistry and your brain changes or whatever, you're like, oh, I want to go do something else. I want to go have fun and elsewhere, you know, chase that pursuit of happiness. And if gaming isn't that anymore, then it just isn't. And some people like competing, you know, some people like competing forever. Some people compete into their 30s. Like, well, I don't know if Matt competed until his, I think he was 30 when he was in season 2 or something like that. Cool, Matt. I think he was, right?
I don't think he's 30. I don't think he's like late 20s.
I think he's 29. I swear he was like the only 30-year-old in Overwatch League. Him and like, I think Neptune was late 20s as well, though. I think you're right.
I don't think he's 30, but I could be wrong.
Maybe he's not. I don't want to rag on him.
I think that was the oldest player in the league.
He definitely was.
I mean, if nothing else, that's telling that he's, you know, like, I think he's late 20s, but like the oldest player in the league. But also, I mean, I think Matt was like one of my favorite players of all time to play with on a team, whether it was in game or out of game.
He's a fun guy.
Just a great guy, like brought a lot to the team, but like you can be just a fun, like a great guy or whatever, and then you're just not performing. And it's like, I don't really like, I'm a very competitive person. If the player is like not like, there's a few things you could do really wrong. You could either just not be good enough, or you could like not be putting effort in practice, or you could, you know, there's lots of issues you could have as a player. And even if someone's a great guy that I want to be friends with and I like, it doesn't mean I want to play on a team with them. But Matt was a person who I actually really like as a person, and I wanted to play with. He's a strong player. He was always super motivated, and he always like had these great bomb setups. Like he always knew, like he had these practicing lineups and stuff like that, and always made these clutch plays, like saved the game for us so many times. So Matt's somebody I really do believe in.
Oh man. Oh no, I remember I played against you guys, I think, in Gibraltar. Do you remember that play, the Gibraltar play, where I think I was transcendencing up in Gibraltar on the glass room or whatever it's called, on first point.
Yeah.
And I was trying to go out the door, and he's on Devo, and he just body blocked the fucking door, dude. It was so upsetting. I was so pissed.
Signature cool Matt play is the body block. He's a god at that. He knew all the spots. He was ready for those.
It lost us that map too, dude. I'm pretty sure it actually lost us that map. Fuck Cool Matt, bro. I agree with the fact. Somebody kill Cool Matt. Yeah, please kill Cool Matt. Please, somebody needs to kill him. I mean, they did. I mean, he's still back in the league. He's still in the fucking league as a GM. Somebody just get rid of him. Kick him out of esports. Somebody take him out right now. I'm just kidding. Just don't do that, actually. But what do you guys think? So Jake, what do you think about like season? So Overwatch season 2, not Overwatch season 2. Sorry, the chips have been impacted me from earlier. I don't know if you saw that. We ate some spicy chips. We did the super Paqui challenge. Yeah, that was terrible. Don't recommend. Don't recommend. But with Overwatch 2 coming out, are you excited for it? What do you think? Are they doing like a... I mean, obviously nothing's announced yet. We don't know anything. Even for Overwatch League, that's not even announced yet. So, like, what do you think coming up with Overwatch 2? Do you think that it's gonna make Overwatch League a little bit more interesting? Do you think it's gonna add more mechanics? Is there? I mean, we did a play test with the 2 push thing at BlizzCon. But what do you think about Overwatch 2? Do you think it's gonna be like kind of change the dynamic of viewing Overwatch and stuff like that?
Well, I don't know if it's going to make like a fundamental change. Like Overwatch is still going to be Overwatch is my feel on it. But I love push game mode. But I think like if you take the best things about different game modes, you put them together. I think that is push. I think the key thing that makes King of the Hill a popular game mode and fun to watch is that it's like you can always make a comeback. Like realistically, you can make a comeback. Whereas I mean, I guess it's possible to make a comeback on like, you know, after you get capped with 5 minutes left on 2CP or something, but it's just like a brutal slog. Whereas coming back from 99-0 is like more reasonable on COD. Maybe you have like a 20% chance to win or something, but you know, it's still there. Whereas on some maps, like you get blown out and you're just like 5% to win or something really, really bad.
It was like 3 minutes to the cap last point or whatever on payload maps and stuff.
Yeah, and even on COD, right, there's the round mechanic. So it's like even if you just totally lose one round, you could still come back and win the map. So there's like that comeback potential and it's more real. And also, I like that on payload maps, you fight in lots of different places depending on where the card is. So it's like every fight is a little bit different. Even if you play the map 10 times, there might be locations that are common to fight, but payload can shape the fight, you know, like the exact location to make sense against
the ult's coming up and stuff like that.
Exactly. So there's these little variations. Whereas on maps like 2CP, I think are really static and like the same thing over and over again because of the nature of just 2 control points. But I think push kind of combines the 2 things, right? There's the comeback potential of Koth, where you can kind of run it back or you know, but there's also the payload idea of you can fight in all these different locations. So you play the map 100 times and you might fight in like subtly different spots depending on the circumstance. So the map is going to like, I think that mode has a lot of replayability and I think it'll add a lot to Overwatch. So I think even though it's just a new mode, I think it might be like maybe the best mode when it does come out. But the bigger thing about Overwatch 2 is I just think with Overwatch 1, how great it was. And just, I think the number one problem, in my opinion, for Overwatch 1 was just like the balancing and maintenance of the game after it launched. I think they were super slow with patches. They don't patch the game for 8 months or something. And it's just like, you know, at the high level, the meta just does not change for 8 months. It's like, that is so brutal.
Yeah.
They cannot do that if they want the game to be popular. And I think they've changed. And in like this last year, it seems like the pace has really picked up. They're more aggressive with patching with the experimental mode or experimental. I don't know what it's called, but whatever, the experimental server, whatever, they're, you know, pushing patches
that's what it's called,
at a way faster rate and actually looking at like high level data, it seems, because they're like they've been more effective about keeping the meta changing and shifting. I also personally am a fan of hero pools. I think it adds a lot to the game. I think you kind of need to keep shaking it up to keep diversity in the game. I think could make Overwatch 2 be more successful than Overwatch 1. And Overwatch 2 is going to obviously bring like marketing budget and get a bunch, like anyone who liked Overwatch 1, even if you don't want to play competitively or whatever, I mean, like who's not going to come back and try the single player campaign? This is Blizzard. It's going to be amazing. Like I have such high expectations for the single player because it's Blizzard, man. They put out some of the best single player you can find in gaming. So.
Yeah, and they've added kind of diverse like weapons and stuff like that, right? Or whatever, you can change up whoever plays with what and abilities and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool if they added that to the multiplayer aspect too. If they changed up like loadout, I don't know if loadouts would be a good idea to add to Overwatch, but something along those lines would be kind of cool. It'd be cool to see Tracer with like instead of 2 pistols, maybe a shotgun or something, like turn into the Scout, just like in Team Fortress 2 or something like that. I don't know. There would be some fun things you could do with that. I mean, in Overwatch 1, I think the interesting part, you mentioned 2CP earlier, Jake. So I know that 2CP is like kind of people's, I don't know, they don't really like it too much. It's the redheaded stepchild Overwatch 2 almost. Like people aren't a big fan of it. But at the same time, I noticed at least last year and the year before, 2CP is one of the most strategic game modes in the entire game. Because like I know when we're talking about maps, when we go over VOD review or whatever, usually a lot of the time that we spent was actually talking about 2CP. That was like a majority of our time spent was talking about like Volsky Industries, how many routes we want to take, what route we want to go up, what's the best route. There's a lot of different things. That was like 70% of our like coaching talks was always with 2CP and strategizing for like those maps specifically because they were so hard. You need to have such good team coordination to make those work. Otherwise, you're going to look like complete idiots just feeding your brains out for 5 minutes on the first point or whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean, I see that merit to 2CP of it, like sort of slowing the game down. My fundamental issue with 2CP is I just think in order for the game mode to like make sense from an attacker defender winning perspective, the defenders need to win like 80% of the fights. So like in order for the game to be balanced, right? Because if you win 20% of the fights on attack, that is like 2 fights, and you need to win 2 fights and then you win the map. So if you can't win 2 out of 2. And even winning 2 out of 3 is going to be very, very fast. You have to be winning like 2 out of 6 or 7 in order for the map to be balanced. So they have to make the maps such that the defenders win 80% of the fights. I just
Majority
think that is not a good mechanic. I think like that is not good game design, just because the defenders have such a huge advantage. Like they need to, or else they mode it like you go 8-8 and it's not fun.
Yeah, it's just boring. Yeah,
you need the defenders to win a lot of fights, or else the game goes forever. And like they kind of fix some of those problems with like, when you stack point, the spawns are slower and stuff like that. They made a lot of patches to make that less bad over time. The original like stalling for 6 divas was like, I don't know, it's like Unreal. That's a real game got released. Because
you're just getting crushed over and over again, right? I mean, it's just like
exactly. I just think it's not fun.
It doesn't matter.
If it's strategic, I want to have as
just
many
dying
fights
over and over again.
close to 50-50. I want a lot of fights that like anybody could take it. Both teams trying to commit. On 2CP, when it's like, yeah, they used 2 ults and we didn't use any. Let's go again, guys. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I know that that's like the correct way to play, but it is just not fun. I think it's much more fun to have fights that are both teams believe they can win. I think that's what makes the best action is the most fun to play. So that's why I don't like 2CP. Even though the mode might be balanced and has all the strategic depth to it, it's like it's not about the competitive side why 2CP is bad. I think it's about the casual side.
So you like King of the Hill the most, right?
Yeah, I think King of the Hill, Payload, and Hybrid I think are all great. I actually like all the game modes that are not 2CP in Overwatch. Like I like them all. I think Hybrid is great because it's like, well, first points are usually pretty easy to cap, but then I think payload maps in general are good. There's not every map is good, right? There's some problems with some of the payload maps and stuff, but in general, I just like the idea of escort because every time you play the map, it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, and because like you mentioned, the payload, where the payload is depends on how the fight is. Some people would jump on the cart. I mean, I don't know how many people we've seen jump on the cart and try to earth shatter on Reinhardt this year, because that does not work. For people that don't shatter on the cart, because your shadow. Well, first of all, if your Reinhardt jumps on the cart, you can get underneath your shield. You can get shattered, right? Like it doesn't touch the ground when you jump on the payload on Reinhardt. Your shield doesn't actually block the bottom of the cart. So your team can get shattered if you jump on the payload as Reinhardt. And the amount of dumbass Reinhardts I see that do that in GM, it's way too many. It's ridiculous. You don't jump on your Reinhardt. You're supposed to be a tank. Just sit still, dude. Just hold your fucking shield.
If we have a Reinhardt.
Oh, yeah, nowadays.
Yeah.
Was the meta mainly Orisa and stuff like that right now?
No,
like
it's
like Sigma
Ball
at least.
Ball Sig is
Ball
really,
Sig,
really meta in a huge way. I think just a big part of it is well, Orisa's still a strong hero, but nerfing Halt was huge. I mean, Halt was incredibly stupid in ability before, when it was just like the whole map.
When there are armor nerfs and the health nerfs, right? Or something like that.
I really think it's the Halt nerf is like the thing that matters. I mean, the Halt, in my opinion, was what always made Orisa good. It was just like, you cannot flank this hero.
You gotta schlop somebody into the pit or whatever from like 10 years away.
Flank, right? She's like super strong in the front, but then she puts the shield down so she can't turn around and stuff. And you get headshot really easy from behind. But like, she has these mechanics where it's like, okay, I see the design of this hero. You like spam the choke, but if you get flanked, you're weak, which like theoretically should work. But the problem is the Halt just kills people who flank you. With a coordinated team, they will follow up the Halt every time. So that was not fun. But nerfing the Halt, I actually think the game's super fun. I love playing the Ballman. I've been playing all roles recently, playing Flex Q. I got like top 10 combined, playing all roles now. I actually super enjoy it. I love playing Wrecking Ball and Sigma, playing Zen and BAP. I'm enjoying this.
Going to Dante. Playing every hero.
Dante, hey, look, now I think I'm ranked 6 or 7.
Man's a beast.
Combined rating. Not that many people actually place it, but I had a lot of fun. I'm like top 100 on tank, and it's a good time.
Yeah, tank's pretty fun. The fact that it's basically DPS, but you don't die, so it's probably the most fun role in the game.
Yeah, as long as I'm not playing Orisa, things are good.
Yeah, as long as it's not Orisa. It's mainly Sigma. Sigma's still kind of, people have been calling for Sigma to get nerfed for like a while. And he probably deserves a nerf. I don't really know. Have you been playing other games besides Overwatch, by the way? Or have you just been hard focused on Overwatch pretty much the past like few months to 6, I guess, since the off season?
Yeah, I mean, I still play a lot of Overwatch, honestly. But I like super recently, I've been sort of getting into some strategy games. I was playing Civ and playing some XCOM.
Total
the
War?
new game was not No, not Total War actually, but XCOM was.
Oh.
I've been super enjoying that. The XCOM 2 is like on a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
sale. I was like, I'll buy this. I think I played the original, or not the original, but like the first like modern XCOM on like a long time ago. So I was like, yeah, I like this sort of game. I played it, but I really enjoyed XCOM 2. It was a lot of fun, a lot of good times. Very enjoyable game. I could see how people really, really love that game, put thousands of hours into it. So yeah, I'm playing strategy
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, but still mostly Overwatch. I think one of the things I realized, I was like, when I was trying, I was like, maybe I just won't play Overwatch anymore. And I was like, nah, I don't want to play any other
You can't do
games.
it.
I still want to play Overwatch, and I still want to be top 10.
Yeah, you still have that competitive fire in you, pretty much. Well, I think Anthony had a question. Anthony, you got a question here? You had a question for Sir Jake of Lyon?
I was more curious about what it's like at the very start of your career. Like, what are the steps a person needs to take to get started on an esports career?
I think the first advice and the best advice I would give to anybody, like, which is kind of a downer advice, but it's also kind of true, and it's also advice like everyone gave to me, and I think like I didn't care or it didn't dissuade me, so then I don't feel bad telling other people this, is like basically like want to be an esports player. I don't know. So I don't know if this stat is true or not, but I was talking to somebody who said it's like significantly more competitive than like playing in the NFL. If you just look at, or at like any professional sports league, if you look at how many people play the game or the sport and how many people are professionals, it is just percentage wise much lower. Because I mean,
Everybody
like,
can do it. Yeah.
there's not like tens of millions of people right now. There's maybe the people who ever played football or something, but people like right now playing a certain sport is actually not as many people as are playing these video games. And if you think that like the esports players are the top, whatever 0.00001%, there's like 200 slots if you're lucky, if the game's super successful. It's just ultra unlikely basically to succeed. So if you should just enjoy what you're doing, like enjoy playing the game, enjoy competing and wanting to be the best. And like, the possibility of someday being a pro, like it might be there, but if that's like your only motivation, if you would regret spending the time, if you didn't go pro, if you'd be like, oh man, I wish I never played those games, I didn't even have fun that whole time, I would just say quit right now. Cause like the odds of success are super low realistically. And you have to and realistically it'll take so long that it's not worth doing if you're not enjoying the process. But beyond that, the more practical advice to like, actually, if you wanted to have more odds of succeeding, which is probably the more interesting thing for people, is mostly just like, I think focus on creating content and like getting your name out there. Because if you're just raw competitive only, it's even more difficult. Like, yeah, that's an even smaller segment of players. But if you work on your other skills, like your communication skills, whether that's in game or, creating content out of the game, being more marketable, these things are going to get you noticed at a way higher percentage and just give you way better odds of like actually making it to a pro team or even a tier 2 team.
Yeah, having any sort of footage always helps. I mean, like, even if you record, for example, like a scrim or whatever, and you just post it later, you just have to ask people if you're going to, like, practice or whatever with the team. Like, just recording that or whatever, having any sort of footage, having any sort of, like you said, working on your communication skills, creating content and stuff like that, that always helps, especially in scenes where they're still developing and are still in the beginning. A lot of those ones are actually ripe for content creation. A lot of... I don't know, if a new game comes out, Valorant comes out, you see how people hopped on that. If you hopped on that train as well and also became known as a good player, like you just get that combination, you start to go off. Like, for example, Shanks, one of the kids I know that plays for NRG in Valorant, he's actually been going insane on his stream just because he kind of popped on that train of being a really good player and then also creating content. If you're doing those two things, it just creates you an even bigger platform than you would have had before and giving you a bigger chance. But even then, even if you do that, like you said, the chances are still incredibly low. Everybody can fucking play a game. I know we talked about it earlier, but like I know Korea has like the advantage, quote unquote. But I mean, like, I don't know, is it genetics? I would say that there's some genetics involved because like reaction time, I noticed that even if you don't think this is that big of a deal, most people that I know, actually, everybody like Gator, Hawk, all the guys on my team have high reaction times. It's kind of strange.
I always thought that stuff was interesting because I personally have tested my reaction time, and I think I'm like in the exact average of the population. I'm like not fast reaction time,
like 190 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, like 200 or something. I did some online tests and it said like you're in about roughly the 50th percentile, somewhere in the middle 10-20 percentile. So basically average to the population. I'm not like super low or something or super slow, but not like noticeably faster than most people. And I can still get whatever, top 20, like I think I have 2 accounts in top 30 right now. So it's not like Especially in a game maybe in a game like Counter-Strike. I've seen some of the CS stuff, like the oppers in CS, like all of them have crazy reaction times, which I could see. Maybe if you play like Widow or something, like it makes more difference. But there's
like 135.
Like if you play like Winston, dude, like it does not matter. Like it just does not. I'm just convinced it does not matter at all, because it's not about.
Do you not think
react?
Yeah, it's not about reaction at all, but I'm saying, like, okay, so a lot of the intangible genetics, I guess, is like, I don't know if I fully agree with this. I guess I'm kind of like speaking myself into believing it, So like, I'm wondering is it because esports is not still developed? Is it because we're still in the beginning that, we're like, maybe, like, for example, me and you, like, I think I have like 180 MS or something like that, maybe 175 on a good day. Whereas like, okay, like maybe genetically I'm actually not that good at games. Maybe down the line, somebody will be genetically better, and they'll understand the tangible factors that it requires to be a pro gamer. Or is it because it's so early? It's like, for example, are we like the beginning of football when people were wearing leather helmets? It was just milkmen playing football. Is that what we are? Are we just milkmen playing like games? Are we not really the beasts genetically that they will be in like 50 years or whatever?
I mean, I think it's more about like when you start playing, in terms of like when you start competing seriously, in terms of your age. Like I think if you started competing seriously at like 8, 9, 10 years old, you're going to reach a higher peak than I ever did, because I started at like 13 or something, or 14. Even though like that seems pretty young, it's like, well, you could always push it younger. And I think I've been reading this great book actually called Peak by Anders Ericsson and there's two authors.
So not Ninja's book.
One. No, not Ninja's book. It's a book. It's not really about gaming. In fact, they never talk about gaming. But
I'll read it. You sent it to me.
The look in general is about just looking at expert performers in various fields, and they set out to understand like what causes you to be an expert performer. And they're both like scientific researchers, done a lot of like neuroscience and behavioral studies. And the interesting thing that they found time and time again across like some of the main people they looked at are like expert musicians, which I think has a lot of applicability to gaming. Like the very best violinists in the world. I mean, it's an incredibly difficult skill, but what they found was that rather than a lot of people's perception of talent being this thing that some people just have and other people don't, and like what are you genetically predisposed for, then you would expect, if that were true, that some of these top violinists would practice just an average amount and would just be the top violinists. But what they found is that if you sorted this, I mean, from a prestigious school where everyone is very, very talented, they sorted the very best of the best, and then like sort of a tier below them, strong performers, but maybe not ready to be like a soloist. And then below them, more of like people who will probably go on to like teach music, but maybe won't, have a professional performance career. So they sorted those people into 3 groups, and they found a super strong correlation of individual hours of practice. The highest group was like 8,000 hours of practice when they were, before they were 18. Then the middle group was like 5,000 something before they're 18. And then this lower group was like 3 to 4,000. So they found like a really strong mathematical correlation. Practice more, you get better. Like that there wasn't people who just didn't practice that much, but happened to be incredible, just didn't exist like in their study, which I think is really compelling. It shows that which something I really believe is that anybody can become incredibly good at something, provided you'll put in the time. And well, if it's also like you already had a huge advantage if you start young.
Yeah, except for football and stuff like that, right? It's just for like the applicable things like gaming and musician and stuff like that. Do you think there's like, so I guess that brings up the topic is, I know, so does that bring up the topic where people are saying, I've heard this recently, like, like Violet plays 13, 14 hours, I don't know, some ridiculous, not 13, 14 hours a day, you can't do that, but he plays like an ungodly amount of time a day. Like, do you think that there's a drop-off point? Like, I know that there was a video watcher recently, I wish I remembered who it was. He talked about how, like, studying for an exam, for example, the first 30 minutes you get all of the max information you can get, and then it drops off after that. Do you think this is the same thing for gaming? Is there like a rate of I don't remember what it's called. It's just like a rate of return almost.
Return.
Like is yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Thank
it's an economics term, but I think it applies really well to practice and anything. I mean, I think that's absolutely true. There is diminishing returns, but the only thing I think to counter that sort of is like, who cares if the returns are less? Like, let's say on hour 10, you get 10% of what you got on hour 1. I don't think you lost anything, except your time. So I personally believe that if you want to be as good as Violet, you should probably play the game as much as Violet does. And the reason Violet is as good as Violet is because Violet plays the game as much as he does. I don't think it's because genetically he's like gifted to be a god gamer. I don't think anybody is genetically gifted. I mean, I think the genetic gifts that like allow you to be better at something are far more applicable in like physical sports, where Like in football,
Yeah.
you could be like the smartest football player ever. It's not going to make you a good linebacker. You know what I mean? Like you're just not going to be a good linebacker. You can't push people. You need to be big
Yeah.
and strong and tall. And those things are very genetically affected, right? Like, some people are just not going to be that tall, and there's nothing you can do about that. But I think for gaming and for these like high skill endeavors, I think, there's probably some component of that, which is like your ability to learn quickly. It was like your intelligence quotient or something, even though the measures of that are like really flawed in a lot of ways. But there's probably some sort of genetic sort of
It's just not.
advantage you get.
It's like an intangible right now.
But
It's
I
like
don't really think it's that
ridiculously.
big. Personally, I really don't think it's that big. Like when I started playing games, I wasn't like gifted when I was 12 years old. I was like average in like Call of Duty or whatever.
Yeah,
Just an average kid. But I played hours and hours and hours every single day for 10 years. And then I was a lot better. And like that's really, I think, the truth. I think anybody can be that good. The only problem is that a lot of people, either you're too old, you like need to get a job, you can't really play that much. Realistic life concerns come in. You
They
wanna
look
have
for
a family.
excuses or something like that.
I mean, there's just real life that comes in, and it's there's nothing wrong with not being a pro gamer or enjoying games casually. But if you want to be a pro gamer, I think it is almost all about practice. I really don't believe a lot in the genetic argument. I'm a big believer in terms of like your focus, your intensity, how much time you put in. I think those are the deciding factors.
Yeah, because I'm not really entirely for it. I suppose. I guess it's just more of like I'm just curious to see if it eventually will make it. Because I agree with you. I'm complete dog shit at games. I'm terrible. Like all my friends in this friend group, Max, Anthony, and everybody else I know in my personal friend group, they're all better than me at games. Yeah, I just went pro in Overwatch because it came out in 2016. I was like, oh, it's a new game. I'm gonna play this professional, and then I just put in all the time, put in all the hours, and somehow made it. It's just like. I think it's a mixture of things. I think it's even harder to go in games that have been around for a while, like Counter-Strike, League of Legends, those type of games. You have to be, I think, a special kind of, insane to go pro in those games as a young kid just because they've been out for so long. But if you go pro in like a new game like Valorant or Overwatch, I feel like it makes it a little bit easier because you're at the beginning. Everybody's learning along with you. And it's kind of like, it's a steeper or not as steep slope to climb almost. It's just easier to like make
you're on even
to go
footing
professional
with
games.
everyone else. I think you're absolutely right about that. Like because like are you really going to compete with like these CS players who've been playing for 10, 15 years?
No.
I mean, like you can, but it's going to be a long journey before you're even close. And we have seen players come up in games like CS and Dota, but it's certainly more rare. Whereas everybody is new in Overwatch, right? Like some people you're like a rookie because it's your first year, but then like the pro experienced player is like 3 years. So it's like, well, it's
not long at all.
Exactly. So the advantage is smaller. And I think the field is constantly improving. Like, what made you a GM player, 4K player in season 1 would make you like a 3K player now. You know what I mean? Like the skill has just risen on everybody. Every single person who's played the game a lot has gotten better at the game. So the pros have also improved. And will continue to improve probably for a very long time.
I want to get your take on one more thing here, Jake, before we close off. So I know in for example, I don't know what it was. I think it was Counter-Strike. Okay, so what do you think about like players that are like new players like Stewie 2K or whatever? Like, what do you think about these guys that are 16, 17, and then they make it professional? And then, like, for example, I think there was a rant by Steele. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. Steele basically on Twitter said he was like, there's a lot of issues that players have to go through these days in Valorant, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, whatever, where they're kind of getting feedback from the community. They're reading like Reddit or whatever, or they're reading statistics about them. They're like, oh, I'm one of the worst statistically. This guy's better than me statistically. Maybe I got to be going for those stats rather than going after tangible things like your positioning or whatever. Like, it's kind of like they're reading the feedback from the community. Do you think it's like kind of harder as social media develops and stuff like that to kind of make it as a pro because you're easily like a lot of the younger guys are easily influenced by like the community and what they think and stuff like that, right?
Well, I think the first and most important thing for anyone like that, right? Like at the moment, almost definitionally, right? By the time Reddit or whatever the community of people following the game, by the time they take notice of you and start evaluating your play and looking at your stats, you are better than 99.99999% of those people. So if you even just took an average of like all the people that wrote comments, odds are you are literally better than every single one of them by the time they would even write something about you. Like, or else they wouldn't be writing it about you if you were better than them. So don't you make your own judgments about the game. If you're that good at the game, your understanding of the game is better than almost anyone else's. The only people that you should be listening to and evaluating are people who you actually respect, who like either they're also very high level players, maybe they have like experience in that type of game, so they can like coach you and help you improve, you know. But you should be very careful taking feedback from just anybody. And I'm a big believer in stats not mattering. Like they probably do matter, right, in some way, but I just think it's the only thing that matters is winning and losing the game. It's the number at the top of the screen. It's not the number when you press tab. Like in a tactical shooter, you know, it's about winning the rounds, it's about winning the game. If you get one kill and you get, or like, let's say you get no kills, but you get like the key impact information and your team wins around, that was a good play. Do it again. You know, it's like it's not like, oh, I made a mistake. My kitty's not good. You know, that is just not how the game works. My understanding is tactical shooters is limited, but I think that's especially true in Overwatch. If you're like forcing kills and dying, great. That's an awesome play. If you're playing like Tracer or Doomfist, you're sacking for one kill. That's an awesome play. You're faster than that guy. You'll have more impact in the next team fight. You'll get back quicker. So like, don't look at the stats. Don't try and just max stats. You know, that like just focus on getting better at the game and getting more wins. And that's the only thing that is like real improvement, is what makes you win more. Better stats don't matter.
I wish everybody had that mindset, man. That's why I was saying though, is that like generally right now, I mean, I can even tell, I mean, you probably can tell from experience and with other players that you worked with in the past or whatever, some players just are focused on that stuff, and it kind of gets into the locker room that they're like, oh, focus on these stats. I need these stats. My stats are bad right now. And these are professional players. These are guys at the highest level that are like focusing on their stats because they don't know any better. They think it's like a part of the environment. That's like what they were brought up with, was reading Reddit, you know, reading these people, reading these statistics about themselves, reading, oh, Violet's insane, Jonak's insane, best stats in the fucking league by a goddamn landslide. And you're like, oh, I want those stats, chase after them, because other people are also like, oh, you know, why is my guy not got those stats, you know? And then it kind of breaks into the locker room, it gets into a toxic scenario, and that's more common than you think. I feel like, you know, on a lot more esport teams, it's actually kind of happening, and it's a lot bigger of a pandemic than you'd think. But thank Jake for coming on the show. I appreciate it, man. It's been an honor having you on the show. Thank you for taking the time out of your day on our very first show. It's awesome having you, bro. So thank you so much for coming on, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jake. Jake, everybody, Jake Lyon, everybody clap. Let's go. Let's go,
Hey,
Jake.
thanks for having me, you
Let's
guys.
go, Jake.
Yeah, we all appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a blast. I'm
Thank you,
looking
man.
forward to seeing where you guys go with the show in the future.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, guys. So we're wrapping up here. The show coming on. This was terrible. This was an awful show. My stomach feels like complete shit. My stomach feels like it's dying.
Dusttin,
this milk has been killing me.
You ass.
What?
You absolute ass, this chip.
What happened to you? Anthony had, for anybody that doesn't know, Anthony apparently had some issues off screen.
I had to stand
what happened,
over,
Anthony?
keel over for a bit, just to lay on my side.
Oh
this
my
My
chip is
stomach is
killing
a
me.
furnace right now.
No, yeah, I'm
Dude, I
burning
can
up.
feel it
I need
right
to
now. I
take off
felt
some
it.
clothes.
Mid interview with Jake, I'm dying, bro. Like I can feel it in my stomach. I'm just like I have to resist not shitting myself. Honestly,
Taking this
it's
layer
pretty
off
bad,
the
dude.
moment this is over. I'm
You can
burning.
take off your shirt right now.
No.
Take off. You won't get banned. No. Take it off, Anthony. Come
No.
on, take it off. Take off your shirt, man. Take it off.
Do it for the
right
show.
now. No, I'm sorry. No, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't force anybody on a show to take off their shirt unless it was a show for Pornhub. Thank you for coming, guys. I appreciate it. If you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe. We'll post some highlights and stuff later. We're wrapping up now. My favorite thing is the Esports City thing. I'm looking forward to that. I might travel to China, fly over there, get some of the disease to go and visit that. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, stay safe. Don't pull a FaZe Banks on us, okay? Everybody stay inside. Don't throw matches. We've been over that today. Don't throw any matches. Okay, you can criticize whatever you want. Just make sure it's not the wrong person. Don't piss the wrong person off. Okay, don't piss me off. If you're tweeting some shit at me, I hate you. If you have anything bad information about me, I hate you, and I'm going to roast you. I'm going to fight you. So come 1v1 me in person. 1v1 Anthony. Anthony's our 1v1 master over here. But thank you guys, and I'm 7 foot tall. Look, I'm 7 foot tall. You can't even see my head. If I wasn't tall, you would be able to see my head right now. If I wasn't tall, you wouldn't be able to see my head right now. Fuck you. All right. Thank you for coming, boys. I appreciate it, boys.
Oh, yeah.
And
We'll
we'll catch you.
Guess tomorrow.
On
Dustin.
guest tomorrow is Toph from the Smash community. Anthony's looking forward to that. And Toph is a great guy. Overall, fantastic individual. He's a caster for Smash Bros. And he's a prominent figure. We're looking forward to talking to him tomorrow about Smash Bros, stuff like that. I'm looking forward to learning a lot tomorrow. I hope you are as well. Tomorrow is our, I had a name for tomorrow. Crap, I had a whole branded name for tomorrow. I'll let you know what it is tomorrow. I'll be excited for that. We'll catch you later. This was Max and Anthony. And from the boys, thank you to Siren. Thank you, Samantha. And thank you to Tolberto, sorry, Daniel, for helping produce this show and getting it together. It's been awesome. It's been a great show. And I'm looking forward to the rest of our lives being here.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, we're going to be senile in our 90s by the time we get over, whatever last esports is. But we're wrapping up, guys. We'll catch you later on the flip. And we'll see you tomorrow for more news, baby. More news. Look forward to it, boys. Terrific Tuesdays tomorrow. That's what it is. Terrific Tuesday.
Oh, man. First thing I do, I need some food in me. I need something besides
Anthony,
this chip, man.
First show, baby.
First show!